CVs are balanced spotting. Intro. As opposed to my normal stream of conscious way of making a video, this one has been written and rehearsed. I do set up the conversation before giving my thoughts. For those that don't know, detection mechanics in World of Warships are coded in such a way that they're easy to understand, yet hard to master. In brief, a ship is spotted at a specific location away relative to the size of the ship. They can also be seen at longer ranges when firing their guns, so that an enemy can return fire. While these concepts are quite basic, there are a variety of ways to manipulate one's state of being detected or not. You might use smoke to obscure your ship, or island cover to break line of sight during an advance or retreat, or island cover to hide behind as you fire freely without allowing the enemy to see you. And still more possibilities exist to counter your attempts to hide, as ships that fire in or behind smoke can still be detected at reduced ranges, or hiding behind islands can be glimpsed by nearby spotter or fighter planes from enemy surface ships. It's both extremely basic and surprisingly involved at the same time. Expert players learn this, and they use it ruthlessly to their advantage. Beginning. One of the most cited balance issues regarding the carrier class is that of spotting, namely that CVs can fly to any place on the map and spot whatever it is that they find en route and at their destination. Not only that, but the CV player can deploy fighter consumables during their flight to leave behind some planes, which can continue to spot for a time, even though the player has already left the area. This changes how a match plays out in a variety of ways. Firstly, a CV will often commit to a scouting run with their first flight of planes. The goal of this is to determine where each enemy ship spawned at the beginning of the match, which aids their teammates in knowing what enemy force they expect to engage. Is the radar on the eastern flank or the western? Has one flank decided to abandon their duty and sail to the opposite side of the map to move in force? This can be crucial information which allows the CV's teammates to pick their defensive positions well and have a better idea of what offensive actions they can take with little to no pressure being applied. This is information that players don't receive until minutes into the battle if there isn't a carrier. Without a carrier, players make educated guesses and play safely in the hopes of not being surprised and sunk. With a carrier, players can make informed decisions and set up to use their capabilities to a higher proficiency. During the match, a CV can provide spotting on ships that are firing while hidden behind island cover. A carrier can find destroyers that are operating in open waters. The carrier adds value to their team through the acquisition of hard-to-gather information, which can apply extreme amounts of pressure to the enemy team. Furthermore, this information gathering is achieved at extremely low risk. While other classes must move within spotting range of an enemy ship with their hull, bringing themselves closer to their enemy, the CV risks only planes which come from a large, limited pool of resources. Balanced? So is this fair? Should a CV be able to achieve the unachievable? Do something that no other class can do? In short, yes. Why? Because in an asymmetrical game design, each class is expected to have things that it can bring to the table. CVs primarily have spotting as their strength, though they do have respectable damage as well. But seriously, why? Why is it okay for a CV player to have such an extreme amount of strength, to do what is impossible for other classes while risking so little? Because there is no certainty in war. In a car, a driver can do everything right. Obey the speed limit, use turn signals, be vigilant, and yet they can be slammed into by another car simply because the other car defied the norm. In war, a soldier can do everything right. But hostility is not merely confined to an understood location. War is war, and the unexpected has a way of occurring whether you want it to or not. Skilled players. In this game, extremely skilled players can mentally figure out the positions of the enemy, factor in the vision ranges and sight lines, play around the ranges of radar and other information gathering consumables. An extremely skilled player can outmaneuver the enemy team's ability to keep them detected and drag them down beneath the water. In short, an extremely skilled player reaches a point where they feel secure, that they have ownership of their situation, that they decide if they want to fight. They choose to allow someone to shoot at them because they know they'll do more damage than they take. They allow someone to try to kill them because they know the enemy will always lose more in the bargain. It's no longer the chaos of a fight that's unfolding, It's the decisions of a master which rule their domain, and lesser skilled players deserve to fall in front of them. Because lesser skilled players can't manipulate the mechanics in their favor, and thus they will fall easily before those that can. I agree that extremely skilled play ought to be rewarded. Having knowledge and skill will always result in an advantage, even without the ability to disappear and reappear at one's own discretion. Even if spotting was removed from the game, skilled players will win from better decision making and accuracy. Equalizer. CVs offer a means to circumvent the detection mechanic. Their tools are limited to the player's current location or that of a fighter deployed at a recently visited one. That is both extremely useful and extremely limited, given a map size of many kilometers by many kilometers. A carrier cannot keep an entire team detected at one time, but they can keep a very important enemy ship exposed for as long as their planes remain in the air nearby. Sometimes that can only be brief windows of time, such as when a valuable destroyer is covered by teammates, or it can be indefinitely, should a ship be in a position where it's detected outside its AA range and has no teammates able to push the planes away. The CV has the unique ability to break the hard limits of surface detection mechanics by utilizing aerial detection mechanics. Is this good? To me? Yes. Yes, it is. I think it's a good thing to be able to support your team by finding a destroyer they can't find. I think it's a good thing to be able to spot an enemy that's retreating to heal up significantly before returning to kill your team. I think it's a great thing to provide information early in a game that allows people to make informed decisions, to allow people to play the game from the start of the game, as opposed to finding out whether they can contest a space, or merely flee and die from a shockingly overlarge lemming train of enemy ships. I think it's a great thing that just because a player is extremely skilled in detection mechanics, that they can be brought down by players they would otherwise demolish. In short, I think a CV adds to the game with what it brings to the table. I don't see it as losing a detection-based game. I see it as having a specific thing that can override a mechanic because of a class-based strength and allow for the chaotic insanity that is a rolling brawl to continue onward. Lastly, for those that feel CVs break the rules by doing what they can do, please realize that CVs are literally hard-coded into this game. The game designers designed this class with the ability to break the surface detection situations and make for more varied gameplay experiences. Outro. I'm a CV main, so it's not surprising that I'm going to speak in favor of the class, but I am a believer in balance, and I study game design as a hobby. Can carriers be nerfed? Can they be reduced and still be playable? Yes, I believe they can. But while I believe that to be true, I also believe that what we have in the game right now is playable, is balanced, so that the 11 other ships are the ones that win the match. That it works and makes for a game that has kept me interested in playing for nearly 2 years straight, and more years for others as well. I'll be looking to address other topics through a similar format to this in the future. Thank you very much for watching.